Unfortunately, my personal investigation has hit a dead end. I think I will have to call upon outside resources to continue the search.
I do wonder what his personal research is. You see Heinrich's expression sour at these last words. Oh, cause we threw away the shard, I think. Will he be truly upset? I mean, heretical stuff, we disposed it. I have something to confess. I discovered some kind of chaos artifact in the Cenobium cogitator, and I deemed it necessary to dispose of it.
What? All right. At the very least, the object of corruption, if that is indeed what it was, has been destroyed. This is a satisfactory outcome. There is one more thing. The Lord Inquisitor gave me this item some time ago. He must have thought it likely that I would find myself aboard this vessel sooner than he.
Reveals a small device.
I was instructed to deliver this device to Lady Theodora. However, given recent events, I believe I ought to present it to you. This is an elucidator, a sacred machine capable of translating the languages of remote and lost worlds into Low Gothic. It can even process Xenos languages to a certain degree. Not without infelicities, but possibly well.
It's quite nice. Be honest, von Calox, is this some kind of tricking device? Also, maybe both. You know, a strange choice for your first love token.
It's not. It is not a love token, Lord Captain. It is a rare and valuable device that will be a useful tool in the hands of the rogue trader.
Heinrix steels himself with visible effort and continues more calmly. Since we're flirting, let's just make sure level 3 is activated. Perception test succeeded. Heinrix cuts you a glance, which you suddenly realize is charged with a strange, almost personal interest, before deferentially averting his gaze.
Apologies in advance if I unknowingly violate the protocol for conversing with someone of your elevated status. I think a slip in composure is to be expected when one is hosted personally in the Lord Captain's study.
Going all in for the flirting. So, what do you think will become of the Electrodynamic Cenobium?
It all depends on the electro priests who survived the attack. Fortunately for them, the cultists did not manage to seriously corrupt the holy site, partly thanks to the priesthood's efforts. Nevertheless, I would not be surprised if the local explorator fleet decides to audit and purge the damaged units once it hears about what has happened.
Seems you can romance him. Yeah, right? At least I can flirt and he kinda seems to react to that. Nice. So, what do you plan to do now?
I would like to offer my assistance in resolving your immediate problems. I am aware that the ship suffered considerable losses during the recent mutiny and was damaged by the cultists' actions, and you have lost many valuable officers as well. You are in a difficult situation. I am at your disposal.
I am wondering about the first statement. If you can say that in a flirty way, or if it's like understood badly. Let's try. Conversing with you is no less disconcerting for me, Master von Calox.
After serving in the Holy Ordos all these years, I am used to people being wary of me.
On the other hand, looking that he's Inquisitor and can torture and choke people just with psychic abilities, understandable. I think that wasn't the path to flirty lines. Do we try the first one? You misunderstand me. I'm not unnerved by your status, but by you personally.
You have no reason to be.
Heinrix falls silent. Then he looks away. Now we have the flirty line. On the other hand, the first statement is also a good one. Admit it, you did not come here to shower me with thanks and give me the elucidator. I mean, he definitely has like a agenda and probably is also quite keen on observing us. I do wonder if they were already kind of on the trails of Theodora. Of course, I mean, she had this weird warp artifact, right? So, Inquisition agents have had romance stories in 40k, so there's probably a believable relationship with the lore. Oh. You know, why don't you sit down? I would be pleased to devote more time to your visit.
There is no need. Under different circumstances, I would welcome the chance to speak with you at greater length, but your subjects await.
No. The interrogator's answer comes too quickly. If he's eager to end the conversation as soon as possible.
Thank you for your time. Please consider me at your complete disposal while I am aboard your vessel.
Congratulations on the victory, your lordship. The entire vessel was impatiently awaiting the news of your expedition's success. The rumors about you not simply saving the Tech Priest Monastery, but actually eliminating the source of the mutiny are spreading like wildfire. The Vox transmissions from across the world speak of nothing else. Please, we're heroes. Governor Medine is expecting you at this command center to discuss matters. We are ready to depart immediately. Just give the order. Please. But before doing that, I would say let's get to know Heinrix and Pasqal a little bit more. And then probably Heinrix. Heinrix looks at you intently, his head tilted. You know, I know nothing about you, Heinrix. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself? Oh wow, Divinity Original Sin 1 vibes. Tell me about yourself.
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained, and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
Typical Psyker story. What is a night world, like a soldier one? Night worlds. Feudal worlds that are home to ancient noble dynasties, trained to pilot the engines of war called Imperial Knights. Night worlds are vital linchpins in the Imperium's defense in countless sectors, protecting their allies from alien and heretic invaders with the help of their massive combat walkers. Do you remember your home planet?
I do, but I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn 3 when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a Psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the black ship.
Yikes. I mean, even... Interesting, because Psykers play such an important role in the Imperium. And I mean, also the Emperor is... well, a Psyker. Weird. And I mean, he survived the sanctionizing. I mean, Heinrix. How did you discover your abilities?
Like many Psykers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response.
Full silence.
My great aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too.
Oh, yikes. The interrogator looks away and added quietly. Yeah, Psyker powers. Pretty cool, pretty dangerous, pretty chaotic. Sorcerer's powers are truly dangerous. I hope you have mastered your abilities since then. It's interesting that you can't be more positive. Of course, I mean, you could be like pretty heretical, also like pretty pro Idira. And I mean, she never really learned how to control it that much.
When I arrived on Holy Terror and was tested, I was found to be suitable material for becoming a sanctioned Psyker, able to bend his curse to his own will. I can assure you that the adepts of the Astra Telepathica were right in their assessment.
Astra Telepathica? Adeptus Astra Telepathica, the special organization that finds recruits and trains the majority of the Imperium Psykers. Most die during testing, but those who survive might become sanctionized and serve the Imperium in many ways. Some might become astropaths, linking worlds together by psychic means, or battle psykers, living weapons who accompany the Imperial Guard to war. Quite impressive, and happy you survived, Heinrix. Tell me about the Black Ship.
Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry Psykers, who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers.
That sounds horrible, especially as a child. Warhammer 40k Hogwarts, but with death and torture. Wow. But you're not wrong, Alistair. Heinrix is silent for so long, began to think that an answer will not be forthcoming.
Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day.
You were sent to Inquisition straight after training, right?
No. First, I was accorded the status of a Psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne.
Heinrix stops there, clearly not intending to elaborate further. Alright, so, let's talk about something else. Heinrix nods wordlessly. So, how long have you served the Inquisition?
Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space.
Unfortunately, we can't ask about his age. Like, would have guessed something like end of 30s? Beginning of 40s? More end of 30s, like. You've visited many worlds during your service, I'll wager.
Indeed. I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terror, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the segment's other worlds.
Quite the devotion to the Empire and its capital. Not surprising. So, what duties have you been carrying out for the Inquisitor?
You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you?
Was worth a try. The interrogator returns your look and smiles. Thanks to the expression in his ice cold eyes, the effect is rather unnerving. For someone who's been in service for decades, you certainly look young.
The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today.
Curious. How old are you? Let's change the subject.
Gladly.
You're not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct?
Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Koronus Expanse, I have been working alone.
Heinrich's expression becomes pensive. Seems to look through you to something beyond. Is Terra Earth? Yeah, it is. Psyker plastic surgery. Nice. Wandering among the stars without family or friends. Don't you get lonely?
I had never even considered such a thing before you asked. Perhaps I do. Sometimes.
He's cute, isn't he? Apart from torturing people. He's cute in a Warhammer 40k unit. Heinrix blinks and looks at you almost as if in surprise. And Edward gives Heinrix a lascivious look. Such a criminal neglect of your needs, right?
Your concern for my needs, Lord Captain, is extremely unexpected. Would you like to remedy my deficit of personal interaction? I would not be opposed to a pleasant conversation, if you can find the time.
For you. His brow shoots upward. If you're an interrogator, does that mean you hold a special position in the retinue?
We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne.
It really is like a right hand, or at least one of the right hands. Terra looks very differently though. It's Humanopolis. Okay. A city-wide planet, no water or trees anywhere, and a population of several 100 billion. Wow. How does that even work with oxygen and everything? Are there other acolytes in the Koronus Expanse? Interrogator narrows his eyes at you and releases a disappointed sigh. After several seconds of silence, you realize that you will not be getting an answer. Spoil sport. Let's talk about something else.
Such as?
For example, what can you do as a Psyker?
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work.
I saw
When
that.
it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
Right. I think that's it. That's everything we can talk with him about. I must take my leave. Rex politely inclines his head in response. See?
You have my complete attention.
Ah, I think that's the start of a romance. Ah, thanks, Toybox. Allowing you to make this game a little bit gayer.